Hey everyone, Merry Christmas. So probably you're thinking the same thing as I am at this time of year. I mean, seriously, what a wonderful time of year we get to enjoy. Now, if I'm being honest with you, this year is actually more enjoyable than ever before. This Christmas time, and I know that probably sounds kind of odd to you considering all that we've gone through this year, but it's actually true. You see, we were not even expecting to see my family for Christmas this year. Yet, actually, because of the pandemic, we were able to travel to the United States not just for Christmas but also for Thanksgiving, and we have actually not been able to celebrate Thanksgiving in the United States in 4 years, and it's just because of the nature of our work, and that's awesome. It's a blessing to be able to work in Guatemala, but we finally were able to come back here, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. It was awesome to be able to be here for Christmas. And actually, we were supposed to be surprising my mom, but things didn't work out the way we were hoping they were going to work out. And probably we ended up being the ones more surprised when instead of my dad picking us up from the airport, it was my mom. So little things got lost in translation. But you know what? It's all good because there were surprises there was excitement there, and just family getting together. So yeah, it didn't go as planned, but it was awesome. It was definitely awesome. Food was great. The weather's been wonderful. We've even gotten a little bit of snow. My kids are so excited about it, so they could go and play in the snow. And we've had lots of Christmas cookies. They're still being baked right now. I've had lots of walks and drives out in the woods, the forest where my parents live. And tomorrow it's going to be Christmas, and it's all just been wonderful getting ready for this time. My kids, they're going to be kids, and as they excitedly wake up early, and I'm going to feel like a kid too because I get to be in the presence of my family and my parents, and we're all going to smile and laugh, and it's just going to be an awesome day. So truly, this is more than I could have hoped for. Hope. Think about that for a second. We all use that word so many times. Just like I said, this has been more than I could have hoped for, and it's such a wonderful word, that word hope, isn't it? Especially at this time of year. And truthfully, even more so now, as we consider how difficult this year has been uh, across the entire earth for all of us together. We're all kind of battling the same thing with this virus, and hope. Sometimes it feels like there's just not enough of it right now, but it's still there. I'm sure that just like me, we're talking about this. You're hoping just like me that in 2021 it's going to be much different than this year, completely virus free, right? So at Christmas time and New Year's, we always talk about hope. Christmas, we have so much hope. There's so many different ways of hope. Kids are all around the world are hoping that Santa Claus is going to show up and, bring them one of these, right? Get a little present under the tree, or a lot of presents under the tree, or something like that. This one is from my daughter Talitha to her mom, and even Talitha is hoping that her mom is going to like it, without a doubt. There's hope right there. My kids are also. This is probably in large part due to this new Santa Claus Chronicles movie. If you've watched that on Netflix, that came out a couple of years ago, my kids are also hoping to catch Santa Claus. And for the past couple of years, they're always putting out some sort of trap to catch him. But somehow, I don't know how, but Santa Claus just always seems to know that there's a trap there, and it's like he's teasing them. Last year, he actually left them a message, but they come so close to catching them. And every year, they're hoping that this is going to be it. They finally catch Santa Claus. But they better hope not. You catch Santa Claus, how are there going to be presents next year, right? So, um, yeah, over in Guatemala, I bet you a lot of kids are hoping that dad went out and bought the most fireworks in the whole community. Because the celebration is just awesome. Fireworks going off at midnight, and it's just an amazing sight to see. And even over there might not be as much of a Christmas presents under the tree, but they still have hope for this wonderful, wonderful day. Then there's other kinds of hope. Maybe you're hoping for a family member who's been in the hospital for a while, and you're hoping that they're going to be able to leave and spend Christmas at home with you. Maybe you're hoping that your flight's not going to be delayed. Maybe you're hoping you can travel at all. I get that's very difficult this time of year. Maybe you're hoping that a certain aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever relative is not going to argue over politics finally while you're sitting down for Christmas dinner, right? Maybe you're just hoping you're going to be able to get the day off, but let's face it, no matter what we're hoping for, we all have it in common that we're all hoping for something. And as I think about hope, you know, just like we're in this time right now, it takes me back to the very first Christmas. So we know the story well. We know the characters in the story. We've seen the plays. We watch the movies, and we recite the stories. And we know that there's Mary and Joseph and shepherds and sheep and wise men. You even include the innkeeper, and there's Jesus himself. We can all recite the story, and it definitely warms our hearts. But as I take the time right now to think about Jesus' birth, um, I started to think about a particular group of people in the story, one group in particular. So Mary and Joseph, they knew they knew when Jesus was coming. I mean, we're talking about the birth of a child. They knew, okay, 9 months about is coming to an end here, so we know that about this time Jesus is going to be born. The wise men, they're reading these star charts, and somehow by looking at these charts, they knew that something was about to happen. They had hope. The Messiah was coming. These five, or maybe there were more, there's always arguments over how many wise men actually were involved in this, but they all had hope that something was happening. But what about the shepherds? I feel like I relate to the shepherds most of all, because the shepherds really are just kind of playing the part in the story of just the regular person living a regular, everyday life, having no idea that something was about to happen. So what about them? Let's just think about it for a second. On that night of our Savior's birth, what were they hoping for? I mean, maybe they're sitting all around the fire. Maybe they're together. Maybe they're separate. Maybe there's a few together or some walking off. We don't really know for sure exactly how it looked like, but we know that there were shepherds out there watching their sheep at nights. And maybe some of them are just saying, I just really hope that the wolves don't come tonight. I am so sick and tired of fighting off those wolves. Maybe they're hoping for a good sale of wool in the market the next day, because you know what? If they don't make the sale, there's not any food going on the table. They were definitely not thinking, I need to sell this wool because I need one more Christmas present on Christmas Eve, and there's no more shopping days left, so I really need this one. No, it's just another day. Maybe, one had a fight with his wife, and he's hoping that when he gets back in the morning that things are going to be better. Maybe one was hoping that in the morning he's not going to be a shepherd anymore, and that he's off to a better job, no longer being a shepherd. The point, though, is that these men, they were out in the fields. They're watching their flocks by night. They also had hopes, but not a single one of them was sitting around saying, you know what? I really hope that the Messiah is born tonight. It was just another day. In fact, no one in Israel went to bed that night hoping for a Savior who was going to save them from their sins. And if there were any who were actually hoping for their Savior, praying for their Savior, talking about the Savior that night, they're probably saying, man, I am so tired of the Romans. When is a Savior going to come? When is a Messiah going to come to liberate us from Rome? They weren't thinking, when is he going to come to break the curse of sin? It's basically on that first Christmas night, save 2 parents and a few kings traveling from afar, no one was hoping that the Messiah would be born that day. Kind of makes you think about your own hopes. And I don't mean to say that we have wrong hopes if you're thinking about a new job, or if you have a family member who is sick, or you've got things. We all have things that are going on in life. But have we sometimes missed where our hope really is supposed to be? Not just on Christmas, but in every day. It just kind of gets highlighted around this Christmas time of year. With the shepherds, although they were not expecting it, after they heard from the angels who were proclaiming the birth of Jesus, they went to go see what was going on. Upon looking on Jesus for the first time, maybe, just maybe, they forgot about all of their former hopes and fears, and for the first time understood what real hope is. Emmanuel, that God is with us. Through the good times and through the bad times. Through the hard times and through the easy times. That's what it means that God is with us. So Israel didn't know that Jesus was going to be born when he was born. The shepherds weren't thinking about it. People went about their lives the next day, like the next day would be like the previous. But today, we know. We're talking 2020 years from now, and we're still talking about the birth of Jesus. We know that Jesus was born. We know that hope was born. So this Christmas, what are you hoping for? Is it just another toy under the tree? Or are you thinking about the living hope? I think about the words of Paul. He says in Romans 5, trials produce perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope, and hope does not disappoint. This is so true. Put your hope in Jesus, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And yeah, let's just continue to hope because it will not disappoint. Love you guys. Good night.